Welcome to SuperTalk, the podcast that scratches your superhero itch. Just two suburban dads nerding out over superhero stuff on the small screen and the big. Buckle up, people. Enjoy the ride. In 3.
Welcome to SuperTalk, the weekly podcast dedicated to news and reviews of comic book media on the big and small screen. This is episode 111. I'm your host, Brian Professor Pettis, and with me, as always, my illustrious co-host, Titanium Tony Estrella. Titanium.
111! Wow.
The Triple Uno episode.
The Triple Uno. I like that. Professor, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good. We got a little trip in our future here. We're going to Vegas.
Well, we can talk about now, but we can't talk about it when we get home.
Absolutely not. No. Plus,
what happens
in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Exactly.
Hopefully, we'll get to see a little bit of the remnants or the aftermath of CinemaCon that's going on out there.
Yeah, CinemaCon happening as we speak. I've been to CinemaCon before. It's probably at this point in time 12, 13 years ago.
Wow.
I went there.
Did you see any cool trailers or anything?
I did not. I didn't get into any of the general sessions. I had a friend of mine who was in the business, and so I ended up getting tickets to CinemaCon through the company that I worked for at the time, who had a little bit of interest in that business. But it was interesting. A lot of I will say a lot of what I saw was specifically focused at vendors selling to people in that business that run and operate movie theaters, right? And that so there was a lot of that. It was there are some interesting things that happen there that time, but you just kind of got to get lucky at sometimes too.
Well, like for example, like a new type of popcorn that they want to
popcorn
sell.
machines, or whatever, or new delivery systems for whatever. The other thing that's interesting about CinemaCon in Las Vegas is there's another very popular convention that is going on at the exact same time in the exact same building, just I think like next door or upstairs or something like that.
Oh, in the convention center?
It is centered around adult entertainment.
Oh. Wow, maybe we'll see.
It just happens to be at the exact same time.
We'll see the aftermath of that.
Yeah,
that would be more interesting. The aftermath of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but we're going to Vegas for a good friend of ours, Craig Starnes' birthday. A couple of people, a bunch of couples, a bunch of other guys, some of his fraternity brothers will be out there. It'll be a good time. Absolutely.
We'll have a great time.
Looking for some good food and a couple of beverages.
Yep, like I've always said, Vegas is one of those places I'm really excited to get there, but man, when I get on that plane Sunday morning, I'm going to be pretty happy to be going home too.
As soon as I wake up Sunday, I'm going to be like, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah, there we go. All right, well, let's get started. Before we get started, we always like to thank the listeners that bring the show to you. Those are our patrons. Patreon.com/SuperTalk is how you become a member of the patronship. If you want to help support the show directly, you just go to Patreon.com/SuperTalk and you sign up to become a patron. You'll donate $1 every time we come out with one of these silly episodes, and you really help out the show directly. So thanks to our patrons out there.
Thank you.
Let's jump into the review section. We had episode 9 of Titans. I know Titanium just finished watching it, and I watched it last week when it came out. This, as you predicted, was 100% focused on Garfield Logan and what had happened to him after the kind of encounter with
Brother Blood kind of sent everybody to a different dimension or whatever with his...
And you really needed to probably watch this like 2 or 3 times with the subtitles on, and if you had taken some kind of foreign substance, it might have helped you understand what was going on. It was very, very...
confusing.
Strange.
Yeah.
The bottom line is... Beast Boy ended up being transported to this place and meeting this guy. His name was...
I think he said atop Kilimanjaro.
Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa.
Freedom Beast.
Yeah. But the name of the guy was Dominic.
Yeah.
And Dominic had been living atop Mount Kilimanjaro and had been protecting this thing called the Red, which is this, dimensional.
Kind of reminds me of the Speed Force.
Something like that.
Yeah,
but instead of being connected to speed, it's connected to all living animals.
Yeah.
Across all universes.
Yeah, Speed Force is more speed, time.
Yeah.
Like time is a big thing there, but the Red is connected to all living things, living animals.
Yes.
Bizarre.
And this guy Dominic was explaining that Beast Boy, he's been looking for Beast Boy for a long time, and that he's important, that he's destined to be the new protector of the Red. And the Red is what connects him to all the animals, but also allows him to transform to all these animals. Through a lot of conversation, we ultimately find out that when he was young, him and his family were sick, very sick with a virus or disease that was going on at the time where he was born. And we know that he was rescued by Niles Calder, the leader of the Doom Patrol. Beast Boy premiered in the comic books, in the Doom Patrol comics. When the Titans season started in season 1, the Titans ended up meeting Beast Boy at the Doom Patrol house, and he decided to go with the Titans. So he's been part of the Doom Patrol before. That's kind of where his origins are from. But Niles Calder rescued him and cured him of his disease. And what Dominic explained to him was, well, his cure only strengthened your connection to the Red. It really wasn't, you were never going to die. But what he ended up doing was creating, or speeding your connection to the Red, which you've always had, you were destined to have. And he's like, oh, and he was kind of upset about that. He basically, at the end of the day, Dominic's like, oh, great, you can be here. You're now the new protector of the Red. And he's like, go crunch rocks. I'm going to go rescue my friends. I need to go save them. And he has this connection to the Red, which lets him, just travel through space and time, and at free will. And he's like going through anywhere.
He's trying to figure it out. He hasn't mastered it yet.
Yeah, he doesn't know where his friends are.
Right.
But the interesting part of that little journey that we saw was that it really connected him, at least Beast Boy and the Red, to everything in the DC universe that's ever existed. So there was a snippet of Grant Gustin's Flash. There was a snippet of Shazam. We had a little interaction with Stargirl. They had a little conversation.
Right.
We saw. I mentioned to Tony, there was one guy that in there looking at a piece of paper that he's drawing on.
Bald guy. It looked like Professor Xavier.
And he's, and it's Grant Morrison, who's a prolific comic book writer for DC Comics. He was there, and then we heard, voices from the Joker and from Superman television shows and all. So basically, he was, showing some kind of connection to everything in DC.
Right.
And eventually, he screams and he says, "Take me to my family," and it dumps him at the Doom Patrol headquarters.
Yeah.
And Cyborg finds him and says, "Oh crap, it's Beast Boy." So this is interesting because I always was under the impression that Titans and Doom Patrol were in separate parallel Earths or something, but now I guess they're saying that they're in the same Earth, and potentially I guess there's going to be some guest appearances on the show or whatever from the Doom Patrol. But very strange episode, very weird, but he's obviously trying to get back to the Titans and help them with what's going on with Brother Blood. But it was 100% Beast Boy episode.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. It was nice to get a background on him and some explanation of his powers and where they came from,
and his connection to all the animals and everything else.
His connection to the Red was, I thought, very interesting, very similar to the Speed Force. But yeah, cool. It was a cool episode.
Yeah,
I'm kind of digging that episode. It was a little slow last episode. Now maybe it's picking up a little bit.
Yeah, and you mentioned this when you finished watching it. It's like, wow, they're doing all this really deep connectivity between all these things in DC with this show, and this is the last season, and they're basically
kind of a swan song.
Yeah.
It's a swan song, so it's a little nod to the past.
I think it's very much so a nod to Greg Berlanti, who is the showrunner for all of these shows, and he did The Flash, he did Arrow, he did what was the Legends of Tomorrow, he did Doom Patrol and Titans, and so Greg Berlanti is really the one who's kind of shepherded all of these kind of television properties for DC for years. And I think this was kind of a nod to him and a lot of the work that he's done, in that time period there and some of the projects. So
good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So interesting episode, and I don't know what the next one's about, but I assume they're going to kind of hopefully be getting back to Brother Blood and figuring out what they're going to do there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump in the news section. A few things from the week. You asked me about this the other night. Big time. We've been covering Fantastic Four casting rumors for a long time now on the show. And we're doing that simply because there's been no announcements, and so they'll continue to be called rumors until we get an official announcement. However, there have been numerous sources that are now saying Adam Driver is going to be the new Mr. Fantastic in the MCU, that he has secured the role of Mr. Fantastic. He had been rumored to be connected with this project and be connected with this movie. You and I spoke about this, I think, a long time ago when his name first came up, and we actually thought that he'd be better suited to play Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
And we thought that that's maybe the role that he was going for. The story that's been told now is that he was offered both roles.
Uh-huh.
And he chose to turn down Dr. Doom. And I think a lot of that is probably because he played kind of a similar type of character in Kylo Ren for the Star Wars franchise, and didn't want to be typecast and didn't want to go down the road of the dark.
Well, he's damn good at it.
Yeah. But, again, this is not confirmed for Marvel. No official announcement yet or anything. But, again, multiple sources basically coming out and saying, he's the new Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a hell of an actor. I think he would bring.
See, I hear that. I hear a lot of people saying he's a great actor. So I'm not a big fan of Adam Driver's. I never have been. I really don't. Didn't think his role of Kylo Ren in the Star Wars franchise was just like, oh my goodness, that was so amazing. It was fine. Mm-hmm. But everybody keeps saying he's such a great actor. Like, what has he done that's been so great?
He was in that movie with Scarlett Johansson. It was about a couple that I think they had a kid and they were breaking up. They were going through a very tough divorce.
Uplifting movie.
No, it wasn't. I didn't watch the whole thing. How about that? How uplifting was that?
But his acting performance was really good.
Absolutely.
In that. Yeah.
I think he was nominated. Or maybe the show was. I can't remember, but I think
he's fine.
He'll bring a lot of depth to the character. I liked him in the Star Wars movie. I thought he was compelling as Ben.
I think, and here, Titanium. I think in that particular role, he did his best work with the helmet on.
Oh, I don't think so. No, with him and
Really, you need to come off of this.
No. With Harrison Ford, what was his Harrison Ford? I'm drawing a blank right now. The character that Harrison Ford plays in Star Wars. Han Solo. Them on that bridge talking. I thought that was impactful. I don't know. That was
very short scene in the movie. But.
I thought he was great. I don't know. I think he'll bring depth to the character. For me, even though they played fanfare, for me, John Krasinski is
well. And look,
it's Reed Richards.
Right. They've always come out and said, the reason why they put John Krasinski in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as Reed Richards was because it was to appease the fans, because they had.
Do you think this Adam Driver is kind of misdirection?
I doubt it. I have a feeling this is true. I don't think.
Do you think John Krasinski has a shot?
No, zero. At this point in time, it sounds like they're skewing a little younger. And I'm sure Adam Driver is probably 15 years younger than John Krasinski. Yeah. So they're probably skewing a little younger, trying to get a younger audience, probably want to have a younger cast in general. No.
That would make sense to me, but go younger, like in their 20s. But I think he's old. Adam Driver is much older, so it'll be interesting. I don't know. But they have to nail it. There's so much pressure on Marvel to nail this casting.
Yeah, and the other part of this story is that, he's been cast and that they've narrowed down the final candidates for Sue Storm as well. Like, they basically said it's down to effectively 3 people is what they've come down and said. It's Mila Kunis, Jodie Comer, and Amanda Seyfried.
Seyfried, not the Kirby chick?
No.
Oh, okay. I like all of them.
Yeah, but they say those are the final 3, and how they know that I don't know, and what it's all, again, rumor and conjecture at this point in time. But look, we'll hopefully find out by July.
Listen, all 3 smoke shows, so I'm okay. That all those 3 work for me. I think it'll be great. I think Grimm. I think they have some movement there. They have a lot of space to get somebody kind of close, or somebody. I mean, obviously, it's a huge CGI character. Really, the voice is going to be the most impactful thing. So you want that. Johnny Storm has got to be spot on. He's got to be a cocky, arrogant, good-looking kind of. It's got to be spot on. There's a lot of pressure. I'm excited to see where this. But you're right, Professor. I mean, all rumors, conjecture. I mean, we'll see when Marvel finally. And I don't think we're going to get it until Comic-Con in July.
So let me ask you, and I don't know who could do this, but let me ask you: when you heard Adam Driver, were you like, "Oh my God, that's awesome," or were you like, "Oh my God, that's perfect"? Did either of those things ever come out of your mouth?
No, because I stated this earlier when John Krasinski, I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Do I think Adam Driver could play the smartest man in the universe? Yes. I think he has acting chops. I think he'll bring some depth to it. I like him. Is it the perfect casting? It's good. It's really good. And I won't be mad if it ends up being him, to be honest with you, but...
No, I think all signs are pointing to the fact that it is him.
Yeah.
And he brings some star power, and he's
I've always said I want to see that kid from Outer Banks, the real cocky kid from the Outer Banks, be Johnny Storm. I think he's a great actor. He's got the flair. I watched that show with my daughter, and she had mentioned that kid was cute. So. If they want to bring,
it'll bring some youngsters,
bring a younger crowd, get a good-looking younger guy like that. So, I don't know. I'm excited to find out.
And once again, we will continue to discuss and cover casting rumors about the Fantastic Four until they make some kind of announcement.
This is kind of like the Mephisto watch we were.
My God, it is. So we got Ryan Renolds went on social media and. I think he had his first experience with the Feige snipers. He went on social media and posted a picture of him with his X-Force team from Deadpool 2, and said something in the caption was like, X-Force lives forever, or X-Force lives again, or something like that.
Oh boy!
And the caption was edited, and it ended up saying X lives forever. Or something like that. And so I think he was teasing the fact that his X-Force team, or some of his X-Force team members, were coming back for Deadpool 3. And, they didn't want that getting out. And so they kind of edited it.
A little spoiler?
Yeah. Huh. Well...
They bring Peter back?
Look. Yes. Peter comes back.
Please bring Peter
Mr.
back.
Invisible?
He's dead.
No. What do they bring him back to?
Oh. Bring Peter back. I don't care about the rest of them. We know Domino's going to be in it.
Yes, she has confirmed she's been recast.
Yeah.
And Cyclops is going to be in it. We've confirmed that he's coming back for sure.
Oh, great.
Not Cyclops. Colossus.
Okay.
Yeah, he's coming back for sure. Yeah. Russian guy is coming back. Yeah, well, other than that, we don't know.
We know Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Another story hit the web this week that the plot had leaked. The plot for Deadpool 3 had leaked online. we discussed this a few weeks ago about plot leaks and script leaks and all kinds of other things that are going on, and how Marvel was suing the editors of a Reddit fan page and all this other stuff. But this week there was rumors that the plot leak for Deadpool 3 had hit the web. I didn't even look at it. I just saw the headline. I'm like, I'm not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. No. I'm not going to touch it because, number one, whether it's true or not doesn't matter to me. I don't want to hear it, even if it's true or if it's not true. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want any plot leak. I don't want any, somebody making up their plot or somebody actually. I don't want to have anything to do with any of it.
Rumors are fine, but major leaks like that, I think Titanium went to social media this week and was spitting out to a lot of these leakers and spoilers. Please, I posted it all over social media and Reddit, wherever I could. I said, hey, anybody fortunate enough to be Tuesday to see The Flash, anybody fortunate enough to see The Flash on Tuesday.
Who's seeing The Flash on Tuesday?
At CinemaCon.
They're showing it?
They're showing the Flash movie Tuesday in Las Vegas at CinemaCon. I said, anybody fortunate enough to see that? First of all, very jealous. But please don't leak anything. Don't spoil it. We have a long wait for that, and I hope they sign their life away. Like I hope they have to sign in blood that they will not say anything. And if they are to find out that they're banned from social media or anything for life, and they agree to it.
Well, that's not going to happen. We just have to stay away from it. Another big CinemaCon announcement, which I meant to put in the notes. Tonight is Sony's panel at CinemaCon. Sony Pictures panel is tonight.
What do you think they're going to review?
Well, they've already announced. They are going to be showing the first footage from Kraven the Hunter.
Nice.
To the CinemaCon attendees tonight.
Nice. Anything Madam Web?
Whether they're going to release it online afterwards, yet to be determined.
Ooh.
But they have told the attendees not to bring their phones and leave their phones off, not take pictures and all that other stuff. So they are going to be showing some Kraven the Hunter footage. They have said they're going to be showing additional footage from Across the Spider-Verse.
Nice.
That's going to be done. I don't know about. I haven't heard anything about Madam Web, but I do know that Kraven the Hunter is a big part of their presentation tonight.
That's great. They must really have faith in that.
Yes.
If they're going to.
Well, Aaron Taylor Johnson came out and said publicly, this is the Kraven the Hunter movie you've been waiting for.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's what I
want to hear. He came out and said that if you're looking for a movie that represents this character, we just made it.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
That's that. I haven't heard shit about this movie.
So I'm hoping.
And photos, nothing.
So they told the attendees of the conference they are not allowed to take photos or pictures or video of what they see, but they are allowed to comment on it. Oh. So we will see stuff hitting tomorrow about what was shown for Kraven the Hunter at CinemaCon tonight. We will see that hit the web tomorrow, and they're allowed to talk about it. They basically said you're allowed to hype it up and say whatever you saw and describe it because we want which makes me believe we will be getting a teaser trailer for Kraven at some point in time soon if they're showing this at CinemaCon. They're probably trying to get a reaction, right?
I tell you, if I run into anybody in Vegas when we're out there Thursday, and I talk to people, and I like to talk to engage people in conversation, but if I talk to anybody that's been to anything out there, I'm going to pick their brain. I'm going to be like, well,
except the Flash.
Flash, obviously, I will pick their brain on what they thought, like.
Don't give me any details.
Don't give me content or details, but how was it? And then I'll gauge where they are in the spectrum of, geekness. Like, are you a nerd? Are you a geek? Because if you're not, and you give me a fluffy answer, I'm going to hold it with a grain of salt. But if they come back at me with, who's your favorite Batman? And if they say Christian Bale, they say George Clooney, I'm be like, all right, see you later. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
nice talking to you. I'll see you later.
Right. All right. So CinemaCon. I'm thinking we're going to get some things from CinemaCon this week. You already mentioned that DC is having a panel where they're showing The Flash. Again, Sony's Pictures has a panel tonight. Look, they're trying to get people
showing Kraven. I would love for them to do something about Madam Web. It's in the can. That movie's been shot already. Give the audience a little something, a teaser. Hey, how cool would it be if they announced Spider-Man 4? Holy shit!
I think that they're going to hold that for Comic-Con in July.
Oh, I think you're right, Professor.
Yeah,
that's a good call.
I just think it's a little too premature to do this. CinemaCon doesn't seem like it's big enough for that, right?
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
But I do think that's happening for sure. We've got some early impressions. I've really been staying dark online.
Oh, me too.
Seems like Marvel is dropping another commercial for Guardians of the Galaxy every day.
Tons
with
of clips
new
online.
clips and new footage and new stills of new characters that we never knew were in the movie. I don't want to see any of that stuff, and I haven't been watching any of it. However, the critics have seen the movie. The movie has the premiere is the LA premiere is this Thursday evening. Some critics have already seen the movie, and early reviews are in, and they're incredibly favorable.
Wow.
They're saying this is the best movie since Endgame from Marvel.
And I hear it's
Bring your tissues.
The best of the three.
Yes, they said best of the three Guardians movies. Best Marvel movie since Endgame. Bring your tissue box. Emotional, thrill ride, deep. So yeah, early review, and again, you get critics saying things like this. It's a good sign.
It is.
I think again, the industry insiders. I don't know. I must have missed our invitation. The industry insiders that are able to see it this Thursday are allowed to post a non-spoiler review on Friday, and it'll be like just first impressions. What did I think? What was my thoughts? How did I like it? They're not allowed to post any kind of spoilery content till next weekend. But look, early indications are this is going to be a home run. We thought it was.
Yeah,
Look, we trust James Gunn.
Yeah.
Everything he's touched here recently has been fantastic.
The world that he's built for the Guardians, the characters, the character arcs that they've gone through, just brilliant. I mean, it's this. I tell you what.
I heard the weakest part of the movie is.
Who? What?
Who do you think they said the weakest part of the movie was?
The weakest?
Adam Warlock.
Really? Wow.
Now, it's his first film, and I don't know how much screen time he's going to have and how much character development they put into him and all this other stuff, but they said that was the weakest part of the movie. But, again, first film. The other characters are so developed and just such a rich history and been in so much, you know them so well. But yeah, my expectations for this movie are pretty high.
I'm going to save judgment for myself on Adam Warlock because I like that kid.
I want that character to succeed.
Yeah, me too.
I want him to be...
And we will see him in the future, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I would think so.
I tell you what, it needs to succeed. This movie needs... The trajectory of Marvel is in a steady decline. They need a bump.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping this is... Now, if this doesn't, and we know, what we think will happen with the Marvels... we
have that to look forward to. What do you mean?
Think what will happen with the Marvels. 2 in a row, I would have to say Kevin Feige's gone.
That would be 3 in a row.
Yes, I guess you're right. Yes. I would have to say Kevin Feige, and there's major changes going on. If this doesn't hit, and if Marvel's does,
I think this will though. Again, I think early.
But who does this help? Again, I brought this up before. Who does this help? Does this help Marvel, or does it help James Gunn? And is there enough of the Snyder creatures, the toxic Snyderverse people out there, to try to undermine and destroy this? I think there are. So, I don't know. I hope it helps Marvel a lot.
Yeah, we'll see. I love the actors, love the characters, love what James Gunn's done with his franchise. I think from everybody, they say it's the best of the 3. It's a great way to end the trilogy and all this. I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. I just got to figure out when the fuck I'm going to see it.
Yeah, I think I'm going Sunday.
I don't know what time I get back, but I might have to see it Sunday too.
Are you out of town too?
Yeah, I'm out of town Thursday, Friday, Saturday, coming back Sunday.
Yeah, maybe we can figure that out.
Okay.
All right, well, let's jump into our topic of the week, brought to us by our friends over at Studio GG Studios.
Studio GG Studios, corn on the cob, the man band.
Thanks to you, G, for all the help that you've given us over the time that we've been on.
The goat just kicking it like he is. Yeah, a goat has a bit of a trigger finger.
Oh, yeah.
He got a little problem with his finger, and when you play the bass, that can be troublesome.
Really?
Godspeed, goat. Get well soon.
Oh, get well good. That's not good news. Look, we discussed this a couple shows ago. We briefly covered it a little bit last week, but right after, literally a couple days after we got done recording last week's episode, even more news hit the wire about Jonathan Majors and the drama that he's undergoing over we haven't heard anything from Marvel, so that we'll kind of talk through that. But everybody's aware of the incident that occurred in New York City. He was arrested, has a trial pending May 8th, I believe it is.
May 8th, yep.
Right?
Court date May 8th.
His entire team has, since the day the incident occurred, has said that he's completely innocent of all charges and he will be fully exonerated and everything else. They did choose to release some text messages from the victim, the alleged victim.
There you go.
Allegedly.
You're catching on. Took you a little bit, Professor. Allegedly.
But that didn't really paint her, nor did it paint Jonathan Majors in a very good light. So last week we had several days in a row had just this massive content dump on Jonathan Majors. So on Wednesday, both his management firm and his public relations firm dropped him.
Yeah.
And this was public. They came out publicly and said, we are no longer representing or have anything to do with Jonathan Majors.
Not a good look. Not a good sign.
So these are firms that usually work on behalf of the actor or actress to get them work, to help manage their career, to bring them scripts, to help them with public events, public appearances, get them commercial shoots, all the things.
Of course.
And they're like, yeah, we're not working with this guy anymore.
Yeah, we're going to pass on him. That's not a good look. That's not good for him. That's tough.
So we saw that. That was Wednesday. And then Thursday, Variety comes out with an article Thursday morning stating that they didn't cite how many or any names or anything, numerous additional female victims, allegedly of abuse by Jonathan Majors came forward and are working and cooperating with the New York City detectives and the DA's office.
So, regardless of his lawyer and what happened that night, the original alleged victim, more women have come forward. And we heard a little bit about this.
We heard rumors of this
Rumors that people were on social media saying, finally, you guys are going to see who he really is. And, I'm speaking in anonymity and whatever. I'm speaking off the record because I don't want to hurt the victims, that the previous victims, they don't wish to come forward and blah, blah, blah. That must have all bubbled to the surface. So now that we're not privy to, the press isn't privy to, but some of these insiders know that they have moles in the DA's office, and they're hearing all this chatter.
It would make sense that the DA's office is asking the police detectives to investigate other potential allegations of abuse.
They were insinuated online.
Some victims decided to come forward on their own, and maybe some were contacted by the New York City Police Department. So we'll find out.
I'm going to hold judgment until May 8th, until some official stuff comes out, until that. But it doesn't look good.
So, and again, this is damage control by Jonathan Majors and his team. His lawyer...
Well, not his team. His PR firm dumped his ass.
It's his lawyer.
Yeah.
So they came out publicly on Friday after all these stories hit and said, look, we've been saying all along, we've got evidence that's going to clear him, that's going to completely exonerate him from all charges. There's video evidence out there. The evidence was obtained by TMZ, and the evidence allegedly, the alleged victim, out at a bar partying after the time of the incident, was back out at a nightclub in a bar,
right,
using her arm perfectly fine, no problems, no injuries. Well,
that they could see.
Right.
The big injuries were about her neck and her head.
Right. And video that she was out partying late. They say that they have statements from both the driver of the vehicle as well as other witnesses, and those witnesses will be testifying and coming forward at a later date. They stipulated that after the incident that was in question in the car, Jonathan Majors left, and she then went back out to the clubs and then came back later that evening. And when the police were called because she was incoherent and wasn't doing very well, and when the police got there, they were coaching her, telling her, asking her, "Are you sure he didn't hit you? Are you sure he didn't abuse you? Are you sure he didn't take advantage of you?" So they were coaching her. Allegedly coaching her. And that was the only time that anything was ever brought up about that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So, look, regardless, it doesn't look good. No. I mean, and again, we discussed this last week, Titanium. You can't get involved with domestic violence as a public figure, as a human being.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
But when you're a public figure and domestic violence is in your past or is in your present, it is not good for you.
No.
I mean, it's literally career-ending type of things.
He was dropped from a film called The Man in the Basement. He was also scheduled, it was part of a project, the Otis Redding biopic, the Otis Redding biopic. The Texas Rangers cut the advertising that he was a part of for them.
The U.S. Army did a full commercial with him, in the forefront of the commercial, and they transitioned to other commercials and got him out of there.
Huge issue with the U.S. Army is recruiting, and he was the face of their new recruit campaign to get people to join the Army, and they had to cut that. Allegedly, he did all these things to this girl. Now, all this other stuff is bubbling to the surface. Doesn't look good. And then all these huge corporations that have people inside that know what's going on and probably hear bits and pieces of what's going to happen start cutting him from things. I hope it's not true. Marvel, Class Act, hasn't made a statement or done nothing. But
been mysteriously silent.
Mysteriously silent.
So, and I think part of it's for two reasons. One, they have so much invested in him. Not only current projects that are, in their batter's box, ready to get released, Loki Season 2.
Right.
But new projects that are about to start filming, and, they're like, wow, what are we going to do? And I think they're just holding on, hoping for all, everybody's sake that this is all false and it's going to be cleared up.
You're right. They got him in the batter's box. They got him on deck for projects, and they got him in the starting lineup throughout the bench. It's him for the next 4 or 5 years. Man. That's why I say if there's any doubt or anything, they got to make a big decision. And I think the only decision they could make, if allegedly all these things are true, you got to recast. So we'll see.
Yeah, and again, I think we've discussed the most interesting thing will be what do they do with Loki Season 2, because
fascinating.
It's completely finished. 100% done. They're just waiting to put it on Disney Plus.
I think I said this last time. You know what my angle was.
You thought that they're going to ramp up Echo and push Loki Season 2 to next year.
Either that or release Loki now. Get it out now.
Before
the court date. Before they... But it's on the 8th. It's right around the corner. It's too late for that.
You can't
do that.
You can't beat that one to the market.
Tough.
Man.
Stay tuned, people. This situation is fluid, and we will stay on top of it, but it is huge.
That's for sure.
The ramifications are huge.
All right.
All right, Professor, the bell has rung. School's over.
All right, well, that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week for more Super Talk. To get in touch with us on social media, hit us up via email, supertalkpodcast@outlook.com, or at SuperTalkPod on Twitter. Until then, stay super.
And we out.
Black Viper. Everyone likes this game. Haters gonna hate. And I know you can't wait to see the Black Viper. Round and round.